Good morning, guys, and welcome to our first maths lesson for this week. Now, if you weren't part of our Zoom, you might be a bit shocked to see me and not Mr. Lakin, but for this week, I'm going to be in charge of your home learning. So today's maths lesson, and really the maths lessons for this week, are going to be slightly different. Usually you're used to following White Rose and following the videos that we post from them. However, we're going to be doing a little bit of recap of what you did last week. So we are going to be I'm going to be teaching you maths lessons for all of this week. So each day will be a different recording of me teaching you the lesson. I've split the videos into year 4 and into year 5 because we've got two different objectives for you. Although both of your waltz will be to multiply, year 4 you only need to multiply by 1 digit, whereas year 5s need to progress on and try to multiply by 2 digits. Okay, now year 4s, you've done this before. I know you did this last week. We're giving you more time just to solidify and really make sure you understand what it is you're doing. The children in school got 2 extra days of this, so that's why you guys are going to get 2 extra days, just because Mr. Saunders, Mr. Lakin and I wanted to make sure that you really understand this and you really grasp what it is you're trying to do. Now, as you can see, the day obviously is the 8th of February today, and we are learning to multiply. You guys are learning to multiply 2, 3 and maybe even 4 digits by one single digit. Okay, now in this lesson you need a pencil to write with, an exercise book or something to write on, or a rubber or a ruler if you have one of those at home. The reason for this is with that all the other maths lessons that you've been doing so far is you've had a worksheet to work on. For this week, well, I think for most of this week, it's going to be A, B and C tasks like when we're in school, so you need a piece of paper to write on, and then obviously you'll send a picture of that work into your on Dojo to me. Okay, so we're going to start the lesson like we always do, even if we were in class, and we're going to start with this little starter. Our starter is to partition these numbers. Now, partitioning is when you break the number apart. Okay, now that needs our place value knowledge. So our place value knowledge is our kind of our thousands, hundreds, tens and ones. Obviously that can even be, sorry, this side, that can even be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, but today we're not going that far. Okay, so what you need to do is partition these numbers into, well, just partition the numbers. So if we, sorry, I can't get the positioning of my camera right. Obviously, this is my first week of home learning, so I'm really sorry for any technical faults. I'm not as good as Mr. Lakin, so please give me a bit of leeway and be kind to me. Now, if I was to do partition the number 20, I would use my tens and my ones, because obviously, oh, blimey, I'm rubbish at this. 24, it's got 2 tens and 4 ones, okay, so it's made up of 20 and 4. Okay, so the way you might want to write this is you might want to put it like, you might want to do 24, an arrow, and then 20 add 4. Now you should be familiar with this. We did lots of this in school. We've done a lot of keepy uppy work with this as well. So pause me here and have a go at partitioning those numbers. Okay, right. So if you replay the video now, you should obviously means that you've done the starter. So 24 is obviously made up of 20 and 4. 234 is obviously made up of 2 hundreds, 3 tens or 30 and 4 ones. 1238 is made up of 1,000, 2 hundreds, 30 or 3 tens and 8 ones. And finally, 14,278, big number, I did that to be a little bit mean to you, is made up of 10,000 and 4 thousands, 2 hundreds, 7 tens or 70 and 8 ones. Okay, well done if you got those right. If you didn't, don't worry. Well done for having a go. Hopefully you can see where you've gone wrong with those. Now, what you are learning to do today is you're learning to multiply numbers, 2-digit, 3-digit and 4-digit numbers by one single digit. Okay, now you know, whoopsie, I'm zoomed on ahead. You know that when you multiply, the numbers get bigger. Okay, your answer is obviously going to be bigger than the numbers that you work with, so that you've started with. Okay, when you multiply, the numbers get bigger. So I'm going to show you an example of how we'd go through these, how we'd work number 1 out. Then what I would like you to do as a little challenge, you can pause the video, have a go at number 2, and then have a go at number 3 if you want to. Or if you're finding this a little bit tricky, don't feel like you have to pause the video, but it would just be great if you could do the work alongside me, laying it out like I have with my hundreds, tens and ones column, my operation over here, and then you can have a go alongside me to make sure that you really understand it. Okay, now I'm going to put, this is our column method. Okay, but this is what we use when we multiply by 1 digit. We've done this in school before. So it shouldn't be a shock to you. We sometimes use, well, used column method for addition, we've used column method for subtraction, now we're using column method to multiply. Now we've got 37, I'm going to put that in my column method over here. So 37 is made up of 3 10s and 7 1s. I'm really sorry, I'm rubbish at trying to write on this PowerPoint, so apologies, I'm trying my best. And then obviously we're multiplying that number by 4. Okay, so we need to start with our ones like we do with any other column method that we use, and we need to do 4 times 7. Now obviously we need our times tables for this. This is why I really hope that you guys are practicing your times tables at home. I know we allocate you time on the timetable to do that, so please make sure that you're doing that. It's really important that you are constantly ticking over your times tables. Now 4 lots of 7 is obviously 28. Now, as you know, I can't put 28 in this ones column here. You can't have 28 ones. That's far too many. You can only have up to 10 ones. 10 ones is the equivalent to 110. So you can't have any more than 9 ones in the column. So with 28, I put my 8 ones over here, and I'd carry my 2 10s over to my tens column. As you can see, it still looks like the number 28. Now what we need to do is we need to multiply 4 by 30. Now, to make it easier, we do say you could do 4 times 3. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12. But what we do need to really remember is that we actually are doing 4 times 30. So 4 lots of 30 is 120. And then we need to add on our 2 10s over here. So that'd be 140. So I'll put my 40 here, or my 4 10s. And then I carry over my 100, but look, I don't need to carry that 100 because I've got nothing in my hundreds column, so that can go straight into my hundreds column just like this. So 37 times by 4 is 148. Now I'm going to try my best to write on this PowerPoint. There we are. Okay, what I would like you to do now is, if you're feeling brave, pause me here, have a go at question number 2. Now question number 2 is obviously multiplying a 3-digit number by 1 digit. Similar, it's exactly the same. Obviously you've just got one more digit to work with and to multiply with. Have a go. Like I said, if you're finding it tricky, pause me now to write out your hundreds, tens and ones. So write this column out here, and you can do this alongside me. Okay, so we're going to put 263 into our columns. We've got 2 hundreds, 6 tens and 3 ones, and we're multiplying that by 6. Now, I should have done this. I'm going to draw in my thousands column. Sorry, I should have told you this beforehand, because I'm looking at the number 263, and if I'm predicting in my head, I'm estimating, sorry, I'm in my head, I think this number is probably our answer is probably going to go into the thousands. So I'm going to draw in the thousands column, okay? So it's probably best idea that you do that as well. Now, it's really important you draw out your place value, your hundreds, tens, and ones with this, because it's really helpful for your for just being aware that you're not actually doing 6 times 6, you're doing 6 times 60, okay? It helps with lining up your numbers. So like always, we start with the ones and we do 6 lots of 3. So 6 times 3 is 18. Again, we can't have 18 ones, so we put our 8 ones here, and then we carry over our 10 under our tens column, okay? Now we're going to do 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36, but I can hear you telling me it's not actually 6 times 6, it's 6 times 60, okay? So 6 times 60 is 360, okay? And then we need to add on our extra 10, which would be 370. But look, there is something in our hundreds column here, so I am going to have to carry my 300, okay? Now finally, I need to do 6 times 200. We'll start with 6 times 2, which is 12. So 6 times 200 is 1,200. And then we need to add our 300s here. So that's actually 1,500. Okay, so I put my 500 here. And look, I've got nothing in my thousands column, so I can put my thousands straight there. So 263 times 6 is 1,500. Oops. Oh, blimey, look how rubbish I am. And 78. Oh, blind. There we are. Okay, right. Now, final one. Again, if you've done those two alongside me and you feel like you're up for the challenge, pause me here and have a go. If not, like I said, please try and do this alongside me. Don't just watch me do it. Have a go yourself with it as well, so you can get used to the layout and things. Okay, you did do this last week, but I just want to make sure that you really understand it. Now, 1,247 times 3. So I've got my thousands column here. I've got my 200s, 4 10s, and 7 ones. Oh, blimey, look at that rubbish that 7 is. I'm so sorry. And then we're going to multiply that by 3. Okay, so like always, I can hear you telling me we start with the ones. So I do 3 times 7, which is 21. Now, can we have 21 ones? No, we can't. So we put our 1 here, and then we carry our 2 tens or our 20 over into our tens column. Okay, then we do 3 times 40, not 3, well, we can do 3 times 4, which is 12, but then we know that 3 times 40 is 120. We add on our 2 tens, which are 140. So we put our 40 here, and we carry our 100. Now we're doing 3 times 200, so 3 times 2 is 6, so 3 times 200 will be 600, add on our extra 100 will be 700, and finally 3 times 1000, you do 3 times 1, which is 3, so 3 times 1000 will be 3000. So our answer is 3741. Now I can, oh, blimey, 7's obviously tricky for me, aren't they? And 41. Now, hopefully that you're starting to really understand that now, because what I would like you to do, here's your task. You've got the choice of A, B, or C. I will move myself out the way so you can see, because what you need to do here is obviously pause the video here. You've got your A, B, and C challenge. You pick which one you want to do. Obviously, you guys in school know how A, B, and C works. If you're finding it slightly tricky, please begin with A, okay? Because then you're just doing 2 digit by 1 digit just to ease yourself in. If you think, I think I'm all right at this, maybe start with B, and then where you start with doing 2 digit by 1 digit, and then you progress on to 3 digit by 1 digit, okay? And then if you look at C, it starts with 3 digit by 1 digit, and then you eventually go on to 4 digit by 1 digit. Now, if you have a look at C and B, the times tables are trickier. Okay, so that's where it gets harder again. It's got more of your 8s, your 9s, your 7s, your 6s, where, however, in A, we work more with our 2s, our 4s, and our 5s, okay, and our 3s. We have got a few of 6s and our 8s in there, but obviously the times tables get trickier as you progress upwards. Now, just like in school, if you start with A and you find it too tricky, you're more than welcome, or please do, you're encouraged to go on to B. I don't want you to do anything that's far too easy for you. So what you could do is maybe if you do 2 of A and you think, oh, actually, that's far too easy, move on to B. Same with B and C. If you start on B and think, actually, it's too easy, go on to C. Don't just plow through all 3 of them, because that's not what we do in school, and that's not what I want you to do today either. I want you to challenge yourself. Now, if you decide, oh, I'm going to start hard, and I'm going to start with C and think, oh, actually, it's a little bit too tricky for me, please go back to B. Don't feel upset because you've not been able to do it. Ease yourself in, go back to B, do a few of B, and then maybe go back and try C again, okay? So pause me here for the task. There is a challenge on the next slide. So the challenge is to work through these word problems. Remember, we're going to do more work on word problems tomorrow, but remember, with word problems, don't be scared because there's words there. I always say to you in class, don't think, oh my god, there's words, can't do it. That's not what you need to do. What you need to do is read it to yourself slowly, read it out loud, circle the key bits of information, and think about what the question's really asking you to do. Remember, I always say the maths in the word problem isn't actually as hard as trying to understand the word problem, okay? So circle, underline the key information, and then just have a go, okay? So this is your challenge for it, if you feel up for it. So I'll go back to this slide, pause it here, have a go. When you're done, sorry, take a picture, send it to me on Dojo. Oh, I almost forgot. Please tell me whether you're doing A, B, or C as well, so it'd be easier for me to mark, okay, when you send in your work. But please don't forget to send your work in. Okay, so well done. Great work. Work as hard as you can with this. Really try. I know you can really master this, because you've had a few days on this last week as well, but this is just to make sure that you really get it. So well done, guys, and send your work in when you are finished. All right.